Thank you, Anna. So this is, we'll showcase, as I said, there are two key elements for a PLC, the holding registers and the programming coils. On the right top, unfortunately you can't see much here, is the holding registers, and the bottom one is your programming coil values. And what we will do is simulate an attack on this PLC to show how these values can be manipulated with ease. So this is a tool called Rapid Fire that we developed in-house to do first testing for the new OT devices that are put on various industrial networks. We then extended its capability to do some hacking for demonstration purposes. So we'll do that here. So what we are doing here is identifying which functions are enabled on the target PLC, and we will see that function 3 and 16 would allow us to read the holding register values and then be able to write holding register values, whereas function 2 and 15 would allow us to manipulate values of the coils, programming coils. So on the top right you see are certain values, 65,000 something and so on in the holding registers, and we manipulate and inject fictitious values as 678 in those, and here at the bottom you see all these ones and zeros. We will manipulate those to change them. So now we will hack into this PLC and inject these values into the holding registers as well as programming coils. So there are two things that are happening. Once the values that were stored were important for your plant operations. Now they are compromised. So that's a big breach in terms of safety and security of your plant and operations. Now, all values have been modified to be 678. So all your important information that you were saving is gone. At the bottom, you still see ones and zeros out there, and now we will inject by rewriting some values in the programming coils to make them all 1. The moment I change all these values, your ladder logic goes out the window. Basically, the PLC is practically useless to perform the function it was intended to do. So that is one example. Once somebody gets access to your PLC out in the open, how they can hack into it and easily modify, inject arbitrary values, and breach confidentiality of your data and make your PLCs useless. So the question is, what can we do about it? So we would start taking some simple examples and see what are the things that can be done, and that's sensitive, that would allow data to go out but nobody to come in without having to breach the firewall first. Another could be data diodes and data collection units, which would essentially facilitate one-way data, and unidirectional gateways are on another extreme, which are devices that are physically not capable of receiving any data, that they can either transmit or only receive the data. So that makes your infrastructure very, very secure. Depending upon, again, the risk appetite, you could choose one of these three solutions. Of course, as you go down, the cost increases. Another thing, you need remote access to your OT network is for getting maintenance and support. So remote diagnosis and control are the key thing. You could use operator assisted access, which is somebody on your plant turns on a key that allows network traffic to come in. You could use a telecontrol server, and one very cool new thing that has recently come out is augmented reality based remote support, and we'll take a look at that pretty cool video thanks to Microsoft.
What if there was a way for employees to work together from anywhere when everything is on the line? Employees are the heart of every business. It's their resourcefulness, ingenuity, and drive that get the job done. But even the best employees need help from people who aren't there with them. Now employees on site can work side by side with experts in remote locations. In an instant, they can share what they see, lend a helping hand, walk through the process step by step, helping solve problems in real time. This is a new vision for work. Now employees can work smarter and bring in the people they need with just a tap. They can troubleshoot, repair, and perform with confidence and speed. They can move freely, pull critical information into view, and stay focused on the task. Their hands free to do the work. This is collaborative problem solving at full speed. Your people, united across time and distance, more connected, more informed, and more efficient. Now employees can work together from anywhere. They can go there without being there. This isn't the future. This is here and now.
So some cool demonstration of technology to come for providing the support. This is again an example of a line, a production line where remote support is needed. So the key element here is the key that you see here. Unless that key switch is turned on by the remote operator on site, the remote support cannot get access, and most of the industrial grade devices would allow you to turn on and off through a key switch through a connected wire. So it's very easy to implement. So here you are getting access through your VPN and your own network. So in this case, IT network has been replaced with a 4G LTE device, which again facilitates connection into your network for remote support. At the same time, the key switch capability is still present. That means unless somebody physically turns on that key switch, the remote operator cannot log into your OT network and provide the support. So again, it's not only important to provide that access, but also you need to log that access, what time, why exactly was its access given to what resource. Just to recap, to ensure SCADA and ICS security, access levels and controls are very important at the lowest level. So different users with different access levels and controls should be created on various devices. SSL encryption allows you to encrypt data going from one device to another device or from your devices to your databases. Fuzz penetration testing is important before you deploy any of those devices so that they do not crash. Let's say there is an intruder and there is a blast of random data that's being generated on your network. So you want to make sure that your PLCs or critical OT assets do not crash because of random input, and they're able to withstand that. Risk assessment based segmentation, as I said, is very important, and if there are high risk assets, they should be properly segmented and isolated from your IT networks. So you could use a combination of firewalls and DMZs, and for very high risk environments, it is highly recommended that you use unidirectional gateways or data diodes.
Well, it's kind of back to where we started in terms of why we care. We're looking for the safer environments here, more sustainable, resuming our operations faster, maintaining our equipment uptime, and maintaining that trust with our customers, shareholders, and everybody, and all of this through our improved security method.
So concluding remarks, air gap no longer exists. Really, it's almost impossible to physically isolate your OT networks from IT networks. So don't even think about that you'll be able to operate in the bubble because of management reasons, KPIs, OEEs, and other things. Hoping and praying is not really a strategy. You really need to go home and do something about it. That's not going to help. How do you get started? Because the task seems really daunting, you need to start at some point. So start by a simple asset audit, figure out what all you have on your OT networks. Is it connected to the internet or not? That would be a good place to start. And then engage somebody who knows and can help you perform risk assessment. If you have any compliance and risk assessment teams within your organization, seek their help to help you identify what are the different levels of risks and how can you segment and zone your networks to improve that. So put configuration and change control processes in place, and most importantly, stay cyber fit with cyber workouts, which are essentially small group team exercises where you can help build not only trust but also more sensitivity towards the cyber security and risks associated with those. Some important resources here. ICS Cert is the most important single resource everybody should be familiar with, because that has not only training but also the latest vulnerabilities that are out there. NIST 882 is a single most important document. If you don't want to read the tons of material out there, make sure to download a free copy of that from NIST website. Review that and see what applies to your organization. Go from there. ISA produces lots of good standards documentation. ISA 99 is what got converted into IEC 62443 standard. And of course, continue to build your knowledge and keep up with the current best practices by coming to industry events such as MNT 19. And Anna and I will be available at booth 618 if you have any questions or would like to know where should you go to find out more information about any particular aspect of this presentation. Thank you very much for
Not necessarily a question, but a comment. You mentioned NIST 882. I'm from NIST. Thank you for the mention of our work. For everyone's information, in addition to that, NIST has published a manufacturing profile as a supplement to the NIST cybersecurity framework, which complements 882 well. And I just also want folks to know that implementation guides are also in process for this manufacturing. I mention that because those industrial control system guides are applicable to a very, very, very wide set of industrial control systems. The profile and its implementation guides are intended to be specific to more manufacturing-specific types of requirements. So thank you.
Thank you.
I have a basic question. So I'm not a IT guy. I'm more from the OT side. Basically, with the using leveraging industrial Internet of Things these days, and trying to monitor equipment performance and trying to get more data from these assets. So we are leveraging intranet, right, to get the monitor data. So my basic question is, would you suggest to separate that intranet from the other, to keep it separate from the other intranet or internet that we use in the plant?
So that would depend upon how sensitive or the confidential the data that you are generating on the internet is. If that's very sensitive and confidential, you could come up with a strategy where you create some DMZs and identify some data that goes into the DMZs and other can stay. Secondly, if you can ensure that there are firewalls in place which would only allow data going from your OT network to your data repository or data lake, then you are not at risk.
Okay, well, if there aren't any, thanks again for Anna Maria and Samudra.